will be making a New York style coffee cake. This is a coffee cake that I had said on my previous post that I was going to, it was deciding between that and the cream grilled cheese. So we did the grilled cheese first, and now is the coffee cake. So what I did for this recipe is that I really wanted to make something. I love coffee cake, and I really just had a craving for like a yummy, comfort breakfast. And one of my loves, absolute loves, is coffee cake. Just for like, those mornings where it's just like I want to grab a little quick breakfast and go. And this recipe, because I'm making it dairy-free in the way I make it, with applesauce, I think I do. I have to look at the recipe. It stays moist for a long time, and I know people don't like that word, but it's a good word in this context. Like, it stays yummy and good for, like, I can make it at the beginning of a week, and it lasts, in my house, it lasts pretty okay, maybe a week, with the 5 of us, and because it makes a really large pan. I do one of the large 11 by 13 baking pans. I wanted to find a couple smaller ones so I could give one to a friend. I'll see what I can do. I'll see how I can divide it up. If you hear coffee in the background brewing, it is coffee, because a girl needs that in the morning to go along with her breakfast. So gonna get my coffee here and show you kind of the ingredients and get started. I'll show you where I found my inspiration recipe. Remember, here at Eccentric Kitchen, we take recipes that I find and that I would love to create dairy-free because of my tummy, and substitute out what are the non-dairy items and make them the dairy items and make them non-dairy. So let me show you the recipe I used and we'll get started. Okay, if you didn't know this, I'm an art teacher on the side. And, well, as my day job, not on the side. Anyways, I said 11 by 13 pan. That's because I say 11 by 13 paper all the time. I'm in a 9 by 13 pan. Sorry, that was a little confusing. But anyways, I set my oven to 325, and this is how the crumb cake is gonna go. As you saw in the previous little clip, this recipe I found on Pinterest, and it is going to have substituted, we're gonna need butter, a substitute for butter, substitute for an egg, and a substitute for milk. So I'm using my trusty applesauce egg. So remember, that is 1/4 cup of applesauce per egg, and I only do that up to like 3 eggs, nothing more than that. So anyways, and my butter, gonna use Earth Balance, and my milk, I'm gonna use almond milk. So I'm gonna go ahead and list the ingredients here, and we'll get started. Our coffee cake recipe is from the blog Cinnamon Spice and Everything Nice, and going ahead and eccentrifying it and substituting those dairy items. But basic ones, just like you saw on the list, are our flour, sugar, salt, baking powder, vanilla, oil. I have my almond milk and my applesauce. We are first going to be making in our mixer the bottom layer of our coffee cake. So that bottom layer is going to come first, and then the top layer is going to come after. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sift the dry ingredients into here to make it a little bit more fluffy. I'm going to do the applesauce, milk, vanilla, and oil. I'm going to whisk that in here, and then get everything of dry. I'm going to consider the sugar dry for this recipe. And so these 4, the sugar, flour, salt, and baking powder, I'm going to sift into here just to make the recipe fluffy. I have my 1/4 cup of applesauce, which is my 1 egg. I have my 1/2 cup of almond milk. I have my 2 tablespoons of oil, and I have my 2 teaspoons of vanilla. So those are all my wet ingredients that I listed before. I put them all in the mixer first. Then I have all my dry ingredients in here in my lovely huge sifter. So I have 1.5 cups of flour in here, 1/2 cup of sugar, my salt, my baking powder. So my 1/2 teaspoon of salt and my 2.5 of baking powder. Yeah, I think that's right. And I'm gonna sift this all into here. So we're gonna just go ahead and do that and get that all in, so it'll make it nice and fluffy. Okay friends, a recipe may not seem like it made a lot, and that's true. Look in here and it looks very little. If you're used to making cakes and stuff like that, it looks like it's very little. However, it's not the showstopper of this recipe. It's the crumb top that is with all coffee cakes. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray my 9x13 pan, and I'm gonna put this all in. Now, listen careful. Sorry, coffee break. Very nice. Okay, so we are going to make the crumb top next. All right, so we're just gonna let this sit in the pan after we spread it all out, and we're gonna need to like work on spreading it out. So this will take me a minute or two. So while we have a minute or two to spread this around, why don't we chat? I hope everybody is doing well today whenever this comes out, this video comes out. And just kind of chat about why do you bake? Like, why do you like to do it? Why do you like to cook? Why are you even watching my show? Who even knows why you're watching this? I have no idea. So yeah. So I bake, or I started baking because, and I'll be honest with you, I was, wanting to just fill a void that I had of just wanting to do something, in my free time, all that free time I had. And kind of, I will be honest, like I bake sometimes to, I emotionally bake. Like I emotionally bake things up. Like my husband one day was having a really tough day and can't really quite remember. I just remember that day I baked like a batch of cookies. I made a pie. I made something for breakfast. And something for supper. I baked so much that day, and he came home and he goes, the first thing he says, "What's wrong?" Like he knew something was up, because I was literally like, yeah, there was like so many baked goods on the counter that he was just like, oh my word. So yes, I emotionally bake. I have to scrape a little bit of this off because you're gonna see that this is quite sticky. And I want to make sure I get all of that batter off into the pan. So we're gonna make the oven's ready. Make sure we get all of it into our pan. So so I emotionally bake. I'm an emotional baker. So today, what are my emotions? Well, I'm a teacher. What else can I tell you? No, my kids are good. Most of the time. But yeah, it's been kind of like, this week's been kind of emotional. Just in like life, I'm adopted, and so I had my adoption gotcha day yesterday, so that was fun. So yeah, I got to talk to my mom and just share a little bit. So maybe I'm oversharing, but we'll get more to that. All right, let's pause here and let's go make our crumb top. All right, I have lightly wiped out my mixer. My mixer is well loved, you can see. So I have my ingredients for my crumb top. There is a lot more flour in the crumb top than there was in the bottom. So I have 2.5 cups of flour. It's a lot. I have a whole cup of packed brown sugar. I have 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon. I overpack because I love cinnamon. And I have a whole cup of Earth Balance melted. So that's 2 sticks of Earth Balance melted in here. So I changed my attachment to the whisk attachment. I'm gonna go ahead and dump all of this flour in here, and it's going to literally just, I'm gonna whisk the ingredients here first before I do the add the butter, just so that these are all incorporated with each other first, and then I'm gonna slowly pour the butter in and it'll crumb itself up. It's gonna be all crummy and goodness, and I didn't plug this in. Hold on, plug your appliances in. Anyways, so I started mixing it up here, and I'm gonna slowly pour this in and we'll see how it becomes like a crumb. It's already a little bit. Woo, look at that. All right, looking beautiful. A lot to this crumb top, so we are just going to sprinkle that over the top and it will cover, trust me, oh yes, that's a lot. It'll cover this whole top. We're going to bake it 325 for 10 minutes. Rotate the pan, 10 minutes more. Oh, I just can't wait. Oh, I can't wait for you to see it. Oh, it's so good. Okay, so cake is baking in the oven, 325 for, it's 20 minutes total, but 10, after 10, you can kind of turn it around and so it cooks evenly on all sides. Yeah, so I cannot wait to have this in my belly. And I hope you try it too. So yeah, I'll show you the finished product and as soon as it's done baking. So we'll have to just wait here. And in a flash, snap. Here it is. Get to sift powdered sugar on top. The best part. Ooh. Alright, y'all, there she is, finished. Ooh, look at that. Look at that thick crumb top. Am I gonna eat this? Well, yes I am. No judgment, it's yummy. And it was simple. I did cook it a little longer. Sometimes with dairy-free baking, you have to cook the recipe just a tad bit longer. So I'm gonna say I cooked it for about 25 minutes, not just 20. So, but it's super soft already, I can tell. And remember, you too can eccentrify any recipe. Enjoy!